Live. Hi, everybody. Well,
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing today? It's been a week or two.
Two for me.
Yeah, it's always two for you.
yep.
You're the most consistent person I know.
I got to maintain schedules.
That's all right. Maybe we'll work around your schedule a little bit more. We'll discuss that later.
I mean, potentially, yeah. I mean, unless they all want to move it to Tuesdays.
I'm actually good with moving it to Tuesdays.
I can do Tuesday.
We got to figure out how the audience feels about us being here for them on Tuesdays rather than Wednesdays. Because, how would you guys like Tuesdays? Sound good? Sound fun?
I mean, I technically already gave my vote, but I'm not the audience.
Tuesday doesn't work with me. Why? What happens on Tuesday?
Is that sarcasm?
Oh. He said, "I have a thing."
Yeah, I have a thing. Oh,
right.
he got big things on Tuesdays.
I understand. You got a thing on Tuesday. Just Tuesday by itself. It's a thing. Anyway,
I can't tell if that was sarcasm. He's being for real, for real.
He said it was very much so sarcasm. So anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Start Button Live. This is a haven for geeks, dweebs, nerds, blurs, and gamers. I'm your host, King Anarchy, and today here with me we have Mr. Rygen, we have Mr. Hustle, and we have Loon is always, here. We couldn't go on without him, so big shout outs. We've been trying to make sure that we put out a steady stream of content for you, and we have a lot more coming.
Man in the chair.
Stay tuned for everything that we have that we're cooking up. We got things like we've talked about, maybe doing some wrestling content, some animation content, not necessarily Japanese anime, but animation content, as well as other content in other areas of gaming, such as card games or tabletop games. I don't know if we're going to do tabletop just yet, but in today's topic, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about competition. We're going to talk about competitive gaming, balancing gaming, things of that nature. So if any of this stuff interests you, by all means, stick around. Even if it doesn't interest you, stick around anyway, because we get busy. So, fellas, I'm going to start off with the question of the day. My question for today to both of you, all of you, is: have you guys ever been in a gaming tournament of any kind? And when we say like a gaming tournament, it could be any kind of tournament, like any kind of competitive style tournament where you had to compete and represent in order to try to top, in order to try to, get a decent placing.
Tekken 5 at Game Crazy, and I placed third in a chess tournament.
Oh, good shit.
King's Gambit. Come for you on. Watch out.
Well, excuse me. Placed third in a chess tournament, ass. Oh. It's all right. I actually have a chess trophy here as well. I placed second in a chess trophy.
Oh, okay. I want to get back into playing chess, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do too.
Yo, that like took off during the pandemic, like people doing like the online chess tournament stuff.
I'm happy about that
because people were like, "I'm stuck inside." But I remember just seeing like going on Twitch, this is like top watch chess. I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm like, but as far as tournaments, I got many under my belt over the years, whether it be like Smash tournaments at Game Crazy in Jersey, going to Evo. Going to places around here. There's some spots near me. There's a spot in Philly called a Local Host that my buddy hosts tournaments at. They do like Tekken, Dragon Ball Fighter, Street Fighter, Smash, everything like that. There's also another spot called The Lab, about like 25 minutes away. They do like weeklies on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but everything on the Sun, King of Fighters, Tekken, Street Fighter. So on random occasion, I would go there, but the biggest ones, obviously, we're going to Evo for Smash. And 1 year.
So you competed in Evo?
Yeah, twice. 2015, 2019. The furthest I got was Evo 2015. I got to top 280 in Smash 4 out of like 2,400 entrants. So like pretty good.
I mean, you won one game, and I is winning one game when the competition is at such a high level, because obviously everyone there is meant to be participating, and they're trying to be they're trying to show off that they're the best. So you could imagine that the number of people, 2,400 people, and with 2,400 people, you have people who put in hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, including yourself, right? And so you got a person like me who might go and be like, all right, well, I'm the best out of all of my friends, so I should be able to do good, right? But then you have other people who are literally studying frame data, who are studying hit cancels, timing, hit boxes, how far you got to be from your opponent. So, like, I think even getting one win is a lot. On top of that, there's a lot of pressure. So, the follow-up question was, what kind of feelings do you have when you're competing in? Oh, Loon, did you have any kind of tournament experience?
Yeah, funny. Back like when I was when Pokemon the card game, like I guess first started. I tried to do it at the local comic shop. Like it was only one time, but it was,
Sir, are you old enough to play original Pokemon card game?
yes, I am. I'm very old.
I'm about to say, like, what? He ain't the
The
youngest
OG
one.
Pokemon card game, when it first came out, it came out in like what was it?
That was
99?
98, 99.
When those trading cards came out,
Yeah.
yeah, y'all know how old I am. Right?
Loon is not that young.
I'm an old man. I just
He's
look
our
like
age.
I'm old.
Yeah,
old.
we got in
fine,
the states.
fine.
Yeah, we got in the states
Yeah.
in '99. Japan
Yeah,
Japan had to be special, getting like 2.5 years before us, obviously.
Oh, right. Yeah, true.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
2000.
Japan
Yeah.
usually is always the Japan is usually the taste tester for card games, because they like to, especially if it's made there, they like to reveal and see how much of a success it'll have over there before they start introducing it to other markets.
I just
Even
like
with
to
the card
say,
game that I play, they're actually technically only 3 months ahead of us, but they're still ahead of us. I believe Digimon card game has been around, and they were, I don't know, 6 to 8 months ahead of us in Japan, and now they're actually doing a catch-up mechanic where they started combining sets and accelerating releases here in English in order for us to have simultaneous releases with Japan. The new card game that's based off of the different anime IPs, Union Arena, has been around in Japan for a year and a half already, almost. So it's just kind of the thing when you play cards. So into the actual follow-up questions, when you compete in those kind of tournaments, what kind of feelings do you feel? Like how do you handle the pressures? Like, yeah.
Pressures. It's been so damn long since I've been in a tournament.
I can tell you what helped me at Evo 2015. 2 mimosas. Chill the nerves a little bit. Nah, like, because me and Hustle going to like the Game Crazy tournaments, other spots, like those were mostly all people we knew, so it wasn't
True.
like nerves.
Those
but
are casual more so.
Yeah, it was more casual. It was just more so like, oh, we've all been talking trash in these games and stuff like that. So let's see, like, put it up. But like, we all hung out in the store all the time anyway. So yeah, one of us might get a gift card from actually the store we hang out all the time. But once I started going to the bigger stuff, especially Evo, like, because the biggest tournament I went to prior to that was like 40 people, I think, maybe 50. So then flying across the country to Vegas, checking in, going to this massive hall with like thousands of people, because there was like a couple, depending on the game, there was a couple thousand people per game. So it was like 1,800 people for Street Fighter, and it was like 1,100 for Tekken, and it was like 1,000 for Mortal Kombat, and then there are people entering multiple games. So there's just mobs of people walking around all the time. But yeah, no, like we got breakfast that morning. And I was like, it's like, yo, my nerves getting me. I need something to like chill a little bit. So I got 2 mimosas at the breakfast buffet, but I'm not even gonna say like smoke, like do something, get inebriated before every tournament. But that did help the nerves a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. because when I played my first 3 people, I felt bad for them because I smoked them. The first 3 people I went against in Evo, I smoked them worse than mad other people I played in the tournaments for. And our me and Hustle's buddy Pete was like, "You are on point today. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because you had a big breakfast or the mimosas giving you courage, but it's hard to give a good tip. Honestly, just try not to think about people or headphones. Headphones up a lot too. Put on your music.
Yeah,
drown out the noise.
For me, so every week I go to my weekly card tournaments. Playing in One Piece, and I have to admit that throughout the course of these weeks, the local tournaments. I always say, "Oh, hey, the local tournaments ain't that big a deal." You know what I'm saying? But I've come to realize that my local store is actually larger than most of the other people's local stores. Like when it comes to the size of the tournament, typically you'll see stores hosting 16-person tournaments or 32.
Are you
My
talking
store
about Mitsuya?
No.
Oh,
Mitsuya only hosts 16, I believe.
okay.
It's a small space. But the store that I go to, it's 20 minutes away. And they host 64-person tournaments. And on Thursdays, when they host their 64-person tournaments, back in the day, it would be 64 of us playing One Piece, or it could be 40, 50 some of us playing One Piece. But then they would have the whole right side of the store repurposed so that they were hosting a Smash Brothers tournament at the same time. So, which is pretty, you could imagine when Smash Brothers tournaments happen, besides just players, you also have spectators. Almost always have spectators. So it was just an interesting time. Now they moved Smash to Tuesdays, and One Piece is still on Thursdays and Saturdays. But needless to say, I've learned that even though the competition is fierce in that store, it's still considered small because probably I want to say a week or two ago. Yeah, it was what's today, the 14th? About 2 weeks ago. I participated in what they call a treasure cup. Now this was on a national scale, and it was a 1,000-person tournament that was hosted online, and they actually did 3 of them. So we're talking 3 1,000-person tournaments. I got into 2 out of the 3, and man, I didn't do too well. The first day, usually people do all right, I'm gonna participate in 3 matches because 3 matches is the minimum before you actually qualify to get prizes. So at match number 3, by that time people are like, well, I ain't got no wins. I'm gonna just join and be like, all right, you got it, bro, and I'm out. You know what I'm saying? It's free win. That hurts you though, because if they drop, if people that you beat or if people that beat you drop, it hurts your win rate because obviously they're a no contest or whatever. So it was a lot of pressure, especially when my deck wasn't performing how it needed to perform. I'm sure we'll talk more about my deck and how it didn't perform or did perform later. But for the meantime,
I think another thing that helped me with pressure is you don't try not to think about the person that you're against and if they're better than you or their skill level, because then that starts to psych you out.
Yep.
I know it's hard, especially if it's let's say it's in a fighting game and you're getting crushed the first round and you're just like, fuck.
So if you line up across from Justin Wong, you just got to go in there knowing that you can beat him.
I wouldn't say go in there knowing you can beat him, but you can't be thinking about how much he's possibly better than you are, because
I'm going to be honest with you,
how much better he is than you.
Right. I'm going to be honest with you.
You're going to
start play your lines and execute, you can win.
I do believe that, because here's the thing: no one stays on top forever. There's people who are beating Daigo that probably would have never thought that they could ever beat Daigo. His fans will disagree with us on that one because they think that man cannot lose at all. It's like, oh, the game's trash. That's why he lost. Really? So it's never his fault that he loses. Like, it's the game's fault when he loses, and those people are just trash. This is his fan base, not him. He seems like more of a humble, like cool dude, but his fans, they're like, yo, everybody else is trash except for Daigo, and if he loses, then the game is trash, and that person isn't good. Come on, man. But don't think about like how possibly that person is better than you, because it's just gonna mess you up mentally.
What tips you got for fighting game competitive people, Rajan?
I mean, obviously, like, you gotta like try to like for fighting games. I think the best thing you could do is like you gotta get your comfort picks in first. Like, don't be trying to like play the whole roster because that ain't gonna work. And get a lot of practice.
You mean during practice or during?
No, when you're practicing, yeah. Like fighting games is like the first step is you gotta find your character or characters first. Next thing is you gotta start doing matchups as much as you can, even if it's just friends or just randomly playing online. And honestly, watching like some other like fighting game channels helps a lot. But honestly, for fighting games, it comes down to experience because even though it's Smash 4, the only reason I think I did as good in Smash 4 is because I had a regular group of people that we were playing like all like weekly, even not even going to tournaments. We just been chilling at each other's houses, playing different characters, everything like that. And then we was like, yeah, we're all kind of like at the highest we can get to now. We kind of gotta like start seeing
amongst each other.
Yeah, we gotta see what we can start doing now. Like, and playing online for Smash is not a good metric for training because Nintendo's online
that infrastructure is trash.
But honestly, like it's just practicing the basics over and over again and getting more matchups in. But you're not gonna be able to do that unless you start meeting other people. So play online as much as you can. You don't gotta do rank. Just do quick play. Like experiment. You're gonna run into every character you can under the sun under there. Like when I had King of Fighters 14, my team was kind of unorthodox, but it's like it works. But sometimes you gotta be unorthodox too. It's like I'm not trying to like ramble.
I live that unorthodox life.
I think what he's saying is don't be a slave to the meta.
Yeah, like meta is good for learning the basics, but then like if a meta character is your bread and butter, go for it. But like there's things that work that a lot of people do. I remember in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, my team was Thor, Beautiful Joe, and Phoenix. People were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, oh, "Stay with me. It works. Just stay with me." You know, people were like, and when I played other people, then I was like, "That this team shouldn't work under any circumstance." And I was like, "It'd be like that sometimes."
But it does.
It'd be like that sometimes. You don't know.
It's like a lot of things, though. It's like you can give anybody a certain set of tools, right? But it all still depends on the person who's using the tools. That's just always how it's always been.
Yeah, Jaquan got to go ahead once you learn your combo, learn your bread and butter combos that you can do consistently.
Is it important that you learn the combos that don't let the other person play the game?
Well, we're not talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ and Marvel vs. Capcom.
I mean, even Tekken. Like, you know how? Have you ever seen like well, of course you've seen a Tekken match, but when you watch certain fighting games, actually when you watch most fighting games, the bread and butter combos are the combos that everybody is doing, and you just automatically know to expect them. Like, you know, if you are fighting against this character, you know that their combo starts with this lead off and moves into this set of moves and combos into this, blah, blah, blah. And so very oftentimes you find yourself blocking all of the strings of the combo, but they know your combos too. So they're blocking all your strings, and it's just a back and forth bout that doesn't really have much action. Whereas if someone was playing unorthodox and not following those set lines, you know, you might actually get some interesting action.
That's why I like watching games like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear more, because they have the whole burst mechanics. So you can break combos, but also you can be punished. Like I like it gives you an extra level of strategy because you can break out of combos, but you can also get punished when you try to break a combo. So it gets to that high level match. But a lot of other games don't give you that. It's just like you in the combo, hope the other person drops it.
Like KI combo breakers.
Yeah, like anything that has a mechanic like a combo breaker, when done right, I like. Like Mortal Kombat's is like decent, but you know, Killer Instinct and Guilty Gear Strive, I think, have the best like break out of a combo mechanic. But if you're going against someone in Tekken that knows what they're doing and you get hit by a bad sweep or something like that, then you're gonna be in the air for a little bit. You gotta accept it.
Yeah, but don't always assume that someone is gonna do the orthodox bread and butter combos, because there are some people who like that's their play styles. They don't follow the rules. What do you do against somebody who doesn't follow the rules? Who doesn't follow the orthodox style of playing a game?
That is literally my bread and butter. My bread and butter is not to use the bread and butter.
Same. I like to go off the cuff if I can and get away with it.
It actually throws a lot of people too.
Yeah,
Especially like people who play for real, like people who compete and play seriously. Like when you don't do what they're expecting you to do, they almost look at you like you're cheating.
they don't know what to do because they followed the meta so much and they followed like all the frame data, all that other stuff.
Yeah, you know what phrase always comes out of my mouth? It's like, yo, that's fucking broken. And it's like, word.
Okay,
word.
I'm telling you, all right. We're gonna get more into metagaming. We're gonna get more into broken and things of that later. I got some things on my chest. Some things happened this week, personally, in the game that I'm playing.
Oh, you got ripped off.
We'll talk about it later. So,
oh, you got cheesed, or you cheesed somebody.
No. But anyway, yeah, metagaming is definitely something that exists, but it also makes you very predictable in my eyes. So
yeah,
if you're predictable and creative, then it's just a matter of who makes the first mistake. Whereas I play games like that in order to kind of push myself, and if making the first mistake is all that it takes in order to win or lose or whatever, then I don't find that to be competitive at all, because it doesn't take skill. It just means that somebody didn't block in time, or like it's one micro slip, and then how can you recover from that? Like, skill is when somebody has a sliver of a health bar and yet the other person has full health and they can come back and win the game and almost perfect the opponent, with like not a mysterious, but a miraculous comeback. That's, to me, that takes skill, because obviously that means that you had to go off the cuff. And sure, you can include your bread and butter, but your starts should always vary. Like, you should have multiple different starts, so this way your opponent doesn't know which way you're coming. And if you have a combo that moves into your bread and butter, or if you can juggle somebody with a certain move or whatever, it might help. So my personal tip is to always think outside the box. Always kind of do something just a tad bit different, because they're always going to be expecting you to do what's normal.
True.
Also, for one, I just remembered, if you keep getting your ass whooped constantly by one character, play that character. Sorry, like if you lose the same character, if you lose the same character 5-10 times in a row, immediately start playing that character. Figure out until you figure out what you're missing in that kit.
That implies to card games too. If you have a deck and you are losing to one deck over and over again, pick up that deck, play it in the sim. If you don't, I'm sure most of these card games have online simulators. Play it in the simulator, figure out the composition of that deck and where its weaknesses are and why you're losing to it. It could either just be a really terrible matchup, but it'll give you an idea of how to win. So that's actually very good advice.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
All right, so now we're gonna move into our first topic for today, and it's a little spicy. I like to call it movie madness, but it's not really movie madness. It just sounds like something that came out of a movie. But I'm gonna let you all know this is very, very real. Okay, this is actual news. We are not making this up.
Your discretion is advised.
I'm just advising you all before we get into this that this is real news. not fake news. All right. So we all know the game of chess. We just talked about it not long ago. We all know what it looks like. We all know what it looks like when people are playing it. You know, two people are sitting across from one another at a table, moving chess pieces, hitting a clock, right? That's the chess clock or whatever, because the goal is to, you know, complete your moves and complete your game before a certain time runs out. So it appears that during a regional competition in the Russian Republic of Dagestan, a player was actually reportedly filmed on CCTV tampering with the game pieces and tainting the chessboard with mercury, which is a toxic substance to humans.
Yep.
So the player, whose name is Amina Abakarova, has been actually suspended from competition following the allegations that she was attempting to poison her opponent, and the tournament was actually canceled. So it's actually stated that the European champion Umagana Osmanova experienced a sudden health decline during the event. So while they were in the middle of playing, the European champion actually started to feel sick. He started to like show signs that he was having declining health. So when they canceled the match, or when they finished the match, and you know, from his health decline, they did an investigation, and during said investigation, it was actually revealed that there was a presence of a suspicious substance on the champion's table, and it was identified as mercury. And just so everybody is aware, mercury exposure can lead to neurological and physical harm, and can be life-threatening if
Yep.
not treated immediately. So they actually canceled the entire tournament. Then they went back and reviewed the footage. That was how they found that allegedly Amina Abakarova actually was the one that spiked the chess pieces. So the player that was filmed spiking the chess pieces was then suspended, and will remain suspended from any kind of regional chess events until the investigation is completed by the authorities. So they actually passed this investigation over to local law enforcement. So until the investigation is complete, this player is suspended. They will be facing legal ramifications for their actions. So we've been talking about competition. We've been talking about tournaments and competitive play. What would make a person go this far? Like, is there any competition or competition prizing that's something like this? Like, not only did Amina endanger herself, but she endangered the lives of pretty much everyone that was there competing that day, including judges or anybody who might be resetting tables.
But this isn't the first time that we've heard of stuff like this. I don't know if y'all, for the audience out there, if you were at least a kid in the 90s, you'll remember a little thing in the Olympics with Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. They were professional ice skaters. And Tanya Harding had paid somebody to attack Nancy Kerrigan right before she was getting ready to go skate, just so she could win the Olympic gold medal. She didn't win. Obviously, Tanya Harding didn't win.
Just to kind of give you a little bit of interjection there, an Olympic gold medal versus a regional chess tournament is...
It's I know it's not comparable, but it's still the same mentality.
It's not comparable.
It's still the same mentality of willing to basically almost unalive somebody to win. That's desperate.
Well, when I say it's not that I'm saying they're not comparable. I'm just saying that the levels of competition are like different. Like, that's the world stage.
It's a level of competition, but not the mentality though. That's the same.
True. Like, I'm not saying that anybody was right or that stuff like this should be done. But
yeah, I think but it's crazy, like because you'll see stuff like this in like even like local stuff. I've 100% seen articles where it's like local dad sabotages like other kids' equipment and like little league, like or like pee-wee football and other stuff like that. It's like
What?
people are crazy. Like people when it
people
comes
are
to
crazy.
competition are crazy, and it doesn't even matter what level you're on. Like whether it be like rigging your kid's soccer game or trying to get a gold medal at the Olympics. Like it all comes like honestly, like I think Squid Game is like a really accurate like commentary on competitions like this. Now, granted, yes, they were literally in life or death situations, stuff like that, but that showed like, okay, how many people are you willing to sacrifice to get life-changing money in this competition?
I mean,
It was a lot. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like if you broke, being broke makes you do crazy things. Like,
yeah, well, you know, they do say money is the root of all evil.
People will
You're
rob
right, V. It does
you.
come down to terrible sportsmanship.
No, definitely. But it's
I mean,
it's
yeah.
the same thing too. Like you got people that use hacks and cheats in games all the time, and they ain't winning nothing. There ain't
Oh, you
no
mean like
money
a
to win,
Cronus?
no none in that. Wait, what?
I said, oh, you mean like a Cronus?
Cronus or actual hacks and
Bots.
mods, aimbots. Like there's so many people who just want to win, and they're willing to do anything to win. Never mind the fact that if you had to cheat to win, it's not a win anyway. It's not a legit win. You cheated. It's a false win. It's fake. You don't have any glory from that. That wasn't your own skill. You had to make sure the other competition was weak enough for you to get past them.
And look, 9 out of 10 times, I can't trust somebody to not cheat on their girl. Why would I think they wouldn't cheat in the game?
Wow.
I mean,
got a point.
It do be facts though. Sometimes. No, I think it all comes down to humanity's terrible. So I'm not surprised when I see shit like that. But like it's crazy because like also like I don't want to lean to the stereotype, but it's kind of been like that over the years. This is also Russia, so it wasn't the most surprised to see that. Like and not trying to
shade towards Russia, but
yeah, like I'm not trying to call it controversy, but it's like we hear about crazy stuff like that over there a lot,
especially in the Olympics.
It'd be like also like it'd be like if you told me like it was like North Korea,
allegedly.
Yeah, no, if you had told me it was North Korea, I'd be like, that. So you mean a Tuesday over there? Like what do you mean? Like what's happening? Like, what are we doing?
I mean, you could literally just type in Russia cheating Olympics and find a whole bunch of shit.
I have to say allegedly because without
it's not alleged though. It's like legit.
I'm just saying I have to say allegedly if we're reporting something and it's not been proven or anything like that, because again,
Russia banned from Olympics and global sports for over 4 years for over doping.
What I'm saying is we can talk about past events and not say allegedly.
Oh yeah,
we say, this happens all the time in Russia.
We
have to say things like
allegedly happens all the time in Russia. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah. But yeah, they got banned from the Olympics for like 4 years for a couple of contestants taking steroids.
Allegedly.
So you mean
no, not allegedly. This is in the news. You can see this.
I know. So you mean one game? Because summer games are every 4 years and winter games are every 4 years.
Yeah, they got banned from the 2020 Olympics over that.
So they just couldn't come to one Olympics.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They'll be back next year, I guess.
You'll like work.
Oh, yeah, it was worth it.
Actually, that means that they would have been eligible to come back this year.
Bro, can you imagine when you're part of the Olympic boxing team, a straight up Ivan Drago from Rocky steps into the ring with you, just all hopped up on all sorts of steroids and other sort of shit? Like, bro,
didn't that happen to the
I'm leaving.
To the girl that was in the boxing?
No. The Algerian girl, like no, that oh my god, that got blown into like such a it was a controversy that wasn't a controversy because there are jackasses in the media that like to push the narrative.
Mm-hmm. That was just straight up. That Italian girl was buns at boxing, got her ass whooped, and decided to quit, and then make a bunch of false statements about the Algerian girl.
My whole takeaway from that is like it's almost like that Italian girl didn't realize you get like when you box, sometimes you might get punched in the face. It might be soft, it might be hard. You never know.
Like, it might hurt. You might get knocked out.
Like you might get knocked the hell out. It's like and it happens sometimes. Like I don't know. Like the other girl was stronger there, but it's just like how long have you been boxing, training boxing? Like have you never been like punched in the face?
This is the Olympics, mama. Like.
Remember,
what you thought was gonna happen?
Remember, she's the best boxer in Italy, which means that.
But the crazy thing is, like, I have friends in this area who go to the boxing gyms like that. He's like, every gym I've gone to, like one of the first things I did is just take a nice solid
punch to the face
from somebody.
I don't want to get hit in the face, bro.
Then don't box.
Exactly. I love boxing. I love the sport of boxing, but I don't like getting hit in the face. I ain't gonna hold you.
But you can't get used to getting punched.
Yeah, it's true.
You get punched. Obviously within reason, not trying to get brain damage, but it's just like you gotta know what to expect.
It's like what one of the best boxers of all time has said. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep.
And he was right about that, because I'm pretty sure Italian girl had a plan till she got punched in the face. And she was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to box anymore. Literally got hit in the face. It was just like, nope, I'm done. I quit. I quit.
All right, so real quick, since we're talking about the Olympics, now we all know that shooting is part of the Olympics, right? That's one of the games. Mm-hmm. We all saw the competition for shooting this year, and how pretty much everybody had these eye devices so that they could see the target or whatever, and then there was the one guy who. Just walked up with a pair of glasses.
Turkey, just like
Turkey dude.
Yeah, he just walked up with a pair of glasses and
he literally looked like he rolled out of bed 30 seconds ago. It was just bang, metal, and that was it.
Yeah,
right. Like second place at that. Like that's crazy. So
who's first place?
What if he had a cybernetic eye implanted or something, and so that's why he didn't need all of those apparatuses.
I mean, you never know in this day and age. Well, no, I don't think we haven't made eye prosthetics yet that work anywhere close to that, as far as I know.
If we ever get to the point where we have enhancement prosthetics, we can't have Olympics no more. If that becomes a widespread thing,
or that that's actually going to be a controversy at some point down the line. Once actual
just like AI aiming and stuff.
Once full on you get cybernetic prosthetics and shit like that. I'm talking about Cyberpunk 2077 levels of enhancements. Then that's become a controversy of people who don't have enhancements going up against people who do have enhancements, and whether or not enhancements should be legalized.
Well, would the enhancements actually qualify you for the Special Olympics or the regular Olympics?
Regular Olympics. I'm talking you got cyber, you got artificial muscle fibers ingrained inside your body, so now you punch harder. You punch harder than a normal
completely different set of competition for these people.
Well, I'm gonna let you know that once we get to the point where there are cybernetic enhancements and things of that nature,
it's gonna be fire.
I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna repeat myself one time. Jack me in.
Pause.
Put me in the network, Chief. Jack me. I want to be connected to the entire matrix. I want to be able to see numbers in front of my eyes.
Jack me in.
Man. I know Kung Fu. Show me.
Bro, I'm not going to lie. If there was a way that I could just instantly just put a wire into my neck and I learned black belt level martial arts, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Jack him in too.
Let's go. Now I'm a master black belt in karate or some shit. What? I ain't gonna lie. I might go out and start a fight at that point, just to see how that works.
Yeah,
that would be wild. It's like I got my new robot arms. I'm gonna go punch somebody in the mouth. What?
Come on, that's not gonna go through your mind. Yo,
I
Imagine.
mean,
I
if I
mean,
got
no.
gorilla arms or robot arms or whatever, I can't guarantee I'm not hitting something solid that I
But look
couldn't
though,
break before to see how much damage I could do.
Because first thing
what
you're
was
gonna
the
do.
Cyberpunk anime?
Oh
Edge Runners.
yeah, there was that.
Yeah, then
Oh
it was a
god, the karate,
sequence.
that combat chip.
Yeah, like, but no, it was a
The one kid
sequence
had the
where dude
combat
was like,
chip.
well, like, what was it? He had went to go fight his bully, and dude
Yep.
had the hands, and he beat. Yeah, like that would probably happen. Somebody would have like
Mhm.
a Zandavistan in the back of his neck or something. Like, yeah, I'm good.
Ooh, would you get a Sandevistan?
Yes. What are you talking about? Yes.
Mm.
Without a heart, with a heart, like in a
Maybe not.
heartbeat.
Maybe not military grade.
No, I'm going
Not
full
military
throttle.
grade though,
Give me the bloody nose and everything.
because that
Yo.
was the
Fuck that.
problem. His was military grade. Like that's specifically built for a soldier's body.
I mean, it was built for
If you can give me a grade that's lower than that, I'll get a Sandevistan, but not military grade Sandevistan. That's suicide. That's
Give me full
nasty for
throttle.
cyberpsychosis.
What about you, Rajan?
I think I definitely want like I forget the name of the enhancements. The crazy like super speed enhancements, like the one that lets you like blink around.
Sandevistan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sandevistan.
that's
Yeah,
the
like no, yeah, I forgot the name, but that was what it was called. Yeah, no, 100% going for that.
I'm probably gonna be honest. I probably wouldn't get a Sandevistan.
Why not?
what would you get? Why would you get anything else?
What you mean? I would definitely get eye prosthetics.
Well, duh.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
Well,
already
that's
go
almost like
blind, but
standard though.
I'm not. I probably wouldn't get a Sandevistan only because like right now in this day and age, today,
Mhm.
it is at a point where like you could get paralysis from like one of those spinal tap needles,
Yeah.
the epidurals or whatever. You know what I'm saying, that they use to minimize pain during giving birth or major surgical procedures. So to have this entire thing jacked right into the back of your into the entirety of your spine, which is literally the tree trunk of your nervous system, kind of makes me feel weird. It's one thing to jack me in like in the back of the neck or in my wrist or something like that, or have like a connection port where I can connect the information. It's a different thing to have something wired to my entire nervous system that, yeah, it may give me a boost, but also is going to accelerate my life.
Yeah.
So I got a
I
question.
just
If we was in Cyberpunk, right? So what would you have, like the super speed, the super strength, or
Mantis
what?
storms.
Yeah, of course, everybody would. Wait, what?
Like
I mean, I
would
would
have
probably
blades
go
come out
like,
your arms?
Yeah, that's
Nah,
I probably
I
would
want the
go
same
low.
Devastating, so I can be Dio. Slow down time throwing knives.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
I don't know. I probably would go low mods, but I would definitely have something.
Gotta have something.
Not
that's
really
like,
sure. I definitely would do like a neuro upgrade, RAM upgrade. I'd probably go hacker route.
I can see that too.
Get the big brain
True.
chips.
Yeah, I would probably definitely go net runner route. So I really wouldn't need a lot of the physical enhancements.
Hey, I still kept the mono wire for my net runner.
Oh,
You have to have that.
Mono wire would be fire. Do you understand me?
Gotta have that.
Like, because it's a weapon that I would have that I wouldn't allow to be traced. Right here, just
Not only that, you can actually like put quick hacks on it. So like when you hit somebody with it, it instantly infects them with whatever quick hack that you have slotted into it.
yeah. But like,
You have that.
say
You don't chop them in half the first time you hit them with the mono wire.
Well, here's the thing. So, all right, say you had a job where you had to, assassinate someone or something like that, and you have monowire built in with your quick hacks or whatever that provides like an infectious whatever. So, yeah, you can do it the traditional way, but all I'm doing is I'm taking that monowire and I'm just gonna pull it as I approach, and we could be in a crowd, and as I pull the mono wire, I'm just going to lightly touch your skin with it.
True. Yeah, it could work.
At that point, I'm in.
But okay,
unless I have to actually pierce skin or cut you open, there's no point in me doing anything extra.
But if you're a net runner, couldn't you just
from a distance? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got.
But if I had to like physically, there's a bunch of possibilities.
Because I would have just straight up just been like, turn off optics, and then hit him with like either toxin or like cyber psychosis. There you go. Have fun. I won't be in the room when this goes down, but you go have fun.
So what do you think is the motivation for players to cheat?
Winning.
Why do we care about winning so much?
Money.
Well, is that a psyche thing? Is that a money thing? Is it you know what I'm saying? Like there are multiple different factors that go into different things.
It's also an ego thing.
Ego, pride.
It's like, okay, because here's the thing though. Like, I get it when it's a tournament in which there's money on the table and possible endorsements and accolades and all that stuff, right? But if you're just day to day, you just use hacks or Cronuses or anything like that, you're just doing that for ego.
Okay.
Or you're doing that to make other people's lives living hell online. Because you somehow enjoy causing chaos.
What if you use something like a Cronus, but it got you recognized by somebody like the Call of Duty, and
you're gonna get caught?
Yeah, but then you get outed as soon as you go to your first tournament. It's like, oh, you can't use Cronus, and then be like, oh, this dude can't actually fucking play, so I guess I'm gonna the team.
Let's not forget this. There are a couple people in tournaments who got caught using hacks.
Do you have to try out for those teams?
Yeah, you got to try out for the Call of Duty teams. You have to. They don't pick up just anybody.
Typically, yeah, but usually they're doing an online tryout. You're not that'd be on them for not doing their due diligence to check, like doing like offline or like a LAN thing. Like, yo, let's meet up, like let's see what you can do and play actually and see if they can do it. And then it's like, oh, I don't got my Cronus, so I guess you ain't getting the brand deal with my team.
Yeah, I was about to say. So if you get put onto a team, do you automatically get like a contract and a deal and paid?
For most esports organizations, if you've gone through the process, the vetting, background checks, because a lot of teams now require you have like certain not be permabanned for like crazy reports or like any weird tweets, code of conduct. Sorry, I couldn't think of it phrasing. But and then you still gotta try out, and then if it's all good, then sign your contract. If you're that good, you're gonna be on their flagship team. You might get moved to their esports house and everything like that for practicing all the time. But if it all goes well, yeah, you could potentially go that route and then join a team like that. But there are some organizations that don't really they're not really around anymore, but they didn't do like the vetting, like they weren't doing like what Optic Gaming does or like TSM, or they just say like, oh, this guy's good, put a team together. I got some people. FaZe was like that. They got some money. They got some money, and they said like, hey, we could pay some people to like be under our banner to get content and get ad revenue, what have you.
And that blew
people to buy our products, and that's where the money comes in.
That blew up in their faces so fast because you had guys like Jarvis that were caught cheating, like straight up blatantly showing people on his stream that he was cheating and using hacks in Fortnite, which got him permabanned off of Fortnite, and then they also got him kicked out of FaZe.
Was he using hacks in a competitive manner, or was he?
But he was using it on Fortnite, which got him banned from Fortnite permanently.
And that was his main game he played. So when you don't got your main way to play anymore, then you can't make money no more.
Like, well, what? Yeah, exactly. It's like, well,
so it's like, what are you here for?
Yeah, and I think he tried to get on. I think he tried to make another account so he could try to get past the banning.
Oh, ban avoider.
Play Fortnite again. And then they were just like, yeah, no, you're done, kid. That's it. And for you. And that was so weird too, because people were like, you guys should unban him because he's taking the game to new levels. Like, man, miss me with that. Miss me with that. Like, nah, you get caught cheating, You don't get to play the game no more. Same as anybody else. I don't care because you're a professional player of any game. Look, listen. No professional player of any sort of game should be allowed special treatment just because they're professional at that game. Like, what's his face? Like Infiltration. He's banned permanently from Street Fighter. He can't be in any Street Fighter tournaments. He tried to finesse his way in this year. I don't know what happened with that, but
apparently he just tried like being in the venue, but he's like perma-banned from all like international.
Oh, they kicked him out the venue.
Yeah.
Good. He deserves to be kicked out the venue.
Why?
So he had multiple run-ins with the law in different ways. If I recall correctly, the first thing that came up was DV with his girlfriend, fiance at the time. And then the other one is he was like money laundering. I might be misremember. I have to like double check.
I think it
was again. All of this is a legend.
But the DV thing was like the thing where the DV thing was the thing where they were just like, yeah, no, you're out. We're done with you. Capcom was like, nope, you can't come to any tournaments. Evo was like, nope, you're not allowed back here. You're not welcome. And that was sad because I wasn't a fan of Infiltration. But once I heard that, I was like, oh, I'm done. Yep. Later, buddy. Daigo was better. Both in-game and as a person.
Well, so it looks like we have a lot to cook on when it comes to competition, tournaments. I think in closing, the best thing to say would be to be a good sportsman. Make sure that you are a trustworthy person. Like when you're going to be in competition and you're putting hours and hours into your game, the last thing that you want to do is walk in there and cheat, because everybody around you is also there to compete, has put in, if not the same, if not more, they've put in hours studying, practicing, and trying to get better at their stuff too. So if you can't win on an even playing field and you feel the need to tilt it in your favor, then maybe you should make your own league where you allow cheaters. But you just take away from the experience for everybody else when you decide that you want to cheat or try to get a leg up. But obviously, my words are in the space, and I'm not going to stop anybody. So,
yeah, don't kill anyone.
Yeah,
don't be poisoning people.
Please don't poison people
because that was wild.
Or chess pieces or anything of that nature. It's just it's bad form. So, let's talk about Hi-Fi Rush. A little while back, we talked about the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, and they were actually being shut down by Microsoft. Microsoft was discontinuing any support for Hi-Fi Rush, and everything that was already in the works from Tango Gameworks was canceled, for the lack of a better sense. So we actually got news this week that the developer of Tango Gameworks was actually purchased by Krafton from Microsoft. So Krafton is the studio or the company that published PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds. And so they actually picked up Tango Gameworks as well as the license for Hi-Fi Rush. Other notable games from Tango Gameworks include things like Ghostwire Tokyo and The Evil Within. And of course, I believe that they were under the Bethesda umbrella. Okay. I also think that Tango was a Japanese-based branch of the company. Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Right. So left Capcom, created his own studio. He also, I believe that Krafton is also a Korean company. So they've picked up, Tango Gameworks, and they're now walking into the Japanese player market.
He also made Dino Crisis, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Shinji Mikami, the guy who founded Tango Gameworks.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we
I'm
get
about to say Tango Gameworks made Dino Crisis, but no, I understand where you're coming from.
Can we get a Dino Crisis, but not Dino Crisis from him? I would love that. Because Capcom,
a Dino Crisis adjacent.
Dino Crisis adjacent. Because Capcom's not going to do that.
A little bit. We can talk a little bit more about that a little later. Now, when it comes to craft and purchasing Tango GameWorks, they actually have stated that they intend to work alongside Microsoft in order to ensure a smooth transition, and that they were actually going to allow Hi-Fi Rush developers to keep on working on the IPs since they acquired those rights. So this way, Hi-Fi Rush or said sequel, any additional support that Hi-Fi Rush might have gotten before, they could still continue forward with those processes and procedures. They also stated that the acquisition was going to have no impact on the existing games that already have come from Tango GameWorks, such as in or Ghostwire Tokyo, and that these games will continue to be sold on all platforms that they're already available on. So wherever you could buy it, you can still go ahead and purchase it. All of this news, which is first of all, let's put it out there. It's amazing news, but all of this news has resulted in reverse review bombing. So we all know what review bombing is, where a game gets negative reputation because of something that a studio or developer or something did or publisher did. This has actually resulted in reverse review bombing, where everybody's kind of giving it positive scores to show that they love the game, while also using the comments to express their displeasure with Microsoft and how things were being handled. So, in a world where we keep on hearing about developers being laid off, studios being closed down, other studios being acquired, how do we feel about this news with Tango GameWorks in this particular sense?
I mean, I think it's good news because I don't like good quality studios to kind of just like throw away the dodo like that. But I'm not sure what it will actually mean in terms of new games. Hopefully, it means we're getting something new because I think are we going to maybe if we get a Hi-Fi Rush 2, dope. If we get funding for more games under Tango, awesome. It's just like when things like this happen, sometimes a lot of studios, like the big companies that buy them out, don't do anything with the small studios. Look at you, Microsoft, buying all this stuff and canceling the games. I'm just saying, you got all these studios, we ain't getting a lot of games. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, I'm happy they're just not getting
allegedly.
No, Microsoft ain't no allegedly. No, we ain't I ain't co-signing that. No, I just hope it actually leads to some games being made. And it's cool that these talented people still got jobs.
I'm the same way because it would have been sad to see a talented studio like that just go under completely without anyone to save them. Because it seemed like Sony wasn't going to pick them up, Nintendo wasn't going to pick them up. It's like, well, where are they going to go? What's going to happen to them? Is this the end of Shinji Mikami's dream? And so I'm glad Crafton stepped in and was just like, yo, well, we see your value. We see what you bring to the table. Come on in. And Microsoft, once again, dropped the bag. They fumbled it like they always do. Because all they do is just buy things up and don't realize the value in the things that they buy up. I'm sorry. Look, I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can, but I've watched that company fumble so much for so long. It's like, come on, dude. This is another one of their mess ups. But yeah, go get Hi-Fi Rush if you can.
I think it's cool.
I mean, at least go play it on Game Pass. Play through.
Yeah, play it on Game Pass if you want.
Loki, yes, there's no such thing as balance, but we're gonna get into that in a probably about 20 minutes. So definitely stay tuned because we're gonna talk about it. Pops, Mecha Break was amazing. As you can see, I have Mecha Break as my background this time around.
I miss it.
And that's actually going to be right along the lines of the conversation of balance, along with a couple of other things that I have. If you haven't seen, we're actually working on a little bit of a short where I'm going to give a little bit of a review on my experience and my thoughts on Mecha Break. So it'll be short, something about a minute long.
The quick irony of seeing the Loki popping in chat, because I got him on Steam, and then seeing him pop into Counter-Strike 2, which he complains about the balance of that game all the time. He's
going to go play it.
Yeah, it's just too ironic to me to not bring.
I mean, Obviously, he said balance doesn't exist.
Is that a figment of our imagination?
I think it's hard to balance a game. That's
Well, we'll talk
multiplayer.
about that in
Yeah,
a little bit.
we gotta get to that.
Now, let's talk
Yeah.
about Hi-Fi Rush, though.
Yeah.
So, I actually heard tons of great things. I still never got an opportunity to like get to play through Hi-Fi Rush. So the thing that I'm seeing is we all know about PUBG's whole thing where PUBG was out there, they were doing something. Fortnite takes the plan allegedly from PUBG, and blah blah blah, jackety schmackety. Like Fortnite was in existence already, but it was mainly surrounding the Save the World mode. And when the Battle Royale mode came around, it was because PUBG had submitted a request over to Epic to publish in their engine or their game engine or something of that sort. So this is all a story that's old. So I hope that them acquiring Tango Gameworks actually brings them success, because not only would I like to see more coming from Tango, like for some reason I don't play horror games because I don't like them, but I keep buying The Evil Within. Like I think I bought The
That's
Evil
weird.
Within 1 and 2 and have never opened them. I don't understand why I buy The Evil Within. Oh, I know why I buy The Evil Within, because it was a Black Friday sale, and in order for me to get the discounts on other games that I wanted, I had to pick something else that was in that color category. And so if I'm going to actually buy a game, I at least want to buy a good game, even if I'm not going to play it. And so it's something that I could just give off to my brother or somebody else.
I mean, I guess.
But yeah, needless to say, I don't play horror games, and I've purchased and supported games from this studio for a long time. I have not played Ghostwire Tokyo myself either. But I'm also of the mind where if Krafton is picking up Tango, does that influence Krafton's own games? You know what I mean? Like if Krafton had projects, do you think that they could pass this? Because they were a publisher, they published PUBG, but do you think that could influence things that they already had in the pipe?
Potentially, yeah, because Krafton's just another big publisher. Because like back in the day, they made Terra. They published Terra, published PUBG, published Callisto Protocol. I didn't even realize that until I looked this up. Like I didn't realize that they published that game. That was like the people don't know. That was like the Dead Space inspired game, like made by like some of the original creators.
I still need to play that.
It's all right. Look, just mad short. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna sway them, because they're kind of just being absorbed into this thing. I'm just hoping, like I was talking before, they're not just gonna like get cherry picked and put in a team like other teams that they don't want to do their own projects on, everything like that.
Yeah.
Well, if they're a publisher and now they've picked up a studio, doesn't this mean that they can do in-house, put their own development, own publishing, etc.?
Ideally, yes, but now that they're under their umbrella, like they could, like worst case scenario is they bought Tango Gameworks just to get the IPs, and then they move people to whatever and not have them work on games specifically under Tango. Ideally, we're gonna get a Hi-Fi Rush 2, or maybe an Evil Within 3, or whatever else Shinji Mikami wants to slap together and give us, which I'll buy, because I'll basically buy anything that man does. But we're not guaranteed. That's what basically I'm saying. We're not guaranteed to get Tango Gameworks games, even with this move.
That's true.
So, do you think we could end up seeing like Evil Within being a full-on series, like how Resident Evil is?
I mean, it's possible.
If it ran that long, if it ran, I guess, what is this, 11 games, 12 games, 15 games? If it ran that long, could it still remain cohesive?
Maybe. I mean, this is something that's still owned by like Tencent, from my understanding, right? Because Krafton, I believe, is
no.
I didn't research that far into it.
No, Krafton is Korean, Tencent's China.
Well, no, it says Tencent owner Crafton 14%, and then Tencent has a 13% investment.
What has a 14%? What
Tencent
Crafton-
involved into crafting.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, so they don't have majority control. It's not like with Riot Games because Tencent owns majority of Riot.
100%.
Damn, they do?
Yeah. They own 100% or
Yeah.
90 something percent of Riot.
It's something crazy. It's like 85 to like 90%.
It's high.
It's crazy.
Riot is literally Tencent in the studio.
Whereas, crafting, like, that's the thing. Like, Tencent, it with the Asian game company is weird because it's like I don't know how like cross country acquisitions works. So it's kind of weird, like in terms of like acquiring small studios or like big publishers trying to acquire other publishers. It's kind of weird. And yeah, you're right. Tencent owns almost 100% of Riot Games, so it's probably like 99.2% or something.
It's high. It's high. Like Tencent is like almost all. Like
how much they sold that shit for.
You don't want to ask questions like that when it comes to Tencent. I promise you. Because if you thought money was being thrown around, yeah, Tencent throws money.
Yeah, Tencent be like, stop pocket watching, play my games.
And now it's weird because Microsoft and as effectively Tencent have like a weird thing going on. Because Game Pass and Riot Games. If you have Game Pass, you have access to all the characters in League of Legends, all the characters in Valorant, some other stuff too. I'm gonna assume you're gonna have access to all the characters from Project L or X, whatever.
2X scale.
Could just call it Project L. I feel like that was a better name.
I've already accepted the dumb name that the League fighting games got. It's like, it looks fun. I just want to play it. I need a beta key. I signed up.
I didn't get into alpha.
The other day. I signed up again. I was like, just give me come on. I've been playing League for like 13 and a half years. Just give me it.
I was going to do numbers. It's definitely going to do numbers. I know it's going to. It's a tag fighter, so you already got that fan base out there. It's built off League, and then you've got like Arcane coming out season 2. They know how to build a circle around their stuff.
The only thing that they didn't do that they could have probably done for those who may or may not be more familiar with like certain games is, you make League playable with a controller and you all of a sudden double your audience.
Fuck no.
Now, League would be hard to play with a controller to keep up with other people because there's such precise movements you gotta try and do sometimes.
Fuck it, let me try.
I mean,
let me try.
It can work.
I mean, even if you release League for like console, like for instance, they have Valorant is PC only, right?
Yeah,
and Valorant being PC only, you can only use mouse and keyboard. Yeah. But the console version of Valorant, which is, I don't know if it's still in open beta, but I know that it was in open beta for a good while because, I had access to it and had codes that anybody could have had if they wanted it. But console version is actually controller only. And if you were caught trying to mouse and keyboard on console Valorant, you would be banned.
Are they going to ban Cronus's? Because they should do that.
Well, the thing is, a lot of companies now are just patching it so Cronus's don't work. So it's just like, eventually that's going to fizzle out.
Again, there's always a way to cheat. There's always something that somebody can do, and we can't stop every cheater, everybody who does something unfair.
Yo, it's like Blade said. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. I don't know what the fuck.
Just had to slip that in there.
Yeah, that means cheating, right? Because I still don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's trying to cut corners.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
I don't think that was in relation to cheating. I thought that was in relation to doing shit the hard way.
No, I thought it was doing shit the easy.
Well, nah, he was referring to because Deacon Frost did the whole turn himself into the blood god. So instead
Right.
of like actually fighting as a vampire, he had to cheat his way to try and be the strongest.
Makes sense.
True.
What's good, Ande? Welcome. We're happy to have you. That makes sense. So, what do we expect to see from Tango Gameworks? Do we think there's a new difference does that make, though? Is it because the competition is unfair? So, when it comes to cheating, is the competition unfair? And so, all right, let's loop back around. So, if you were in a game and you found out that the person across from you was cheating, or the person next to you, if you found out that there were people that were cheating, what do? Do you cheat too? Do you try to cheat better, or like do you just try to get them out of the game? What do you do?
You don't cheat because cheating is a false win. You didn't actually beat that person. But I don't know. Maybe my ego is just like if I were to cheat in the game. And
you're talking about with Valorant and why mouse and keyboard? Because mouse and keyboard allows more precise movement, and with controller, in order to even remotely keep up with mouse and keyboard, they have to utilize things like aim assist.
Ain't even mouse and keyboard. The only reason, so most shooters on console have aim assist, regardless of if there is the option for mouse.
Even if it's a soft aim assist,
because controllers are wildly inaccurate when it comes to a shooter. The only
what else is wildly inaccurate?
What?
My right hand.
Yeah, we know that you're left-handed, but
which is why I can't mouse and keyboard.
one of the few games that forced you to play without aim assist was Killzone. That was the only game where your shots actually were your shots.
Which one?
They weren't assisted.
Part 1 or 2?
2.
Yeah, and also the most recent one, they didn't have no aim assist in it either.
Shadowfall.
Yeah, which is underrated. Shadowfall is really
no. Just give me a full 4K Killzone 2 remake with that multiplayer, because I played the hell out of that multiplayer. I miss playing that game on PS3.
Oh, I don't know why Sony hates Killzone. I don't fucking get it. I don't know why.
Happy left hand day to you, bro. Did you not know that there was a left-handed day?
No.
We're disabled, bro. Why wouldn't we have a left-handed day?
I wouldn't go that far. Like, you're left-handed. Okay.
So you didn't know that a person could actually be considered disabled for being left-handed?
That's a thing. Look that up, please. Look that up. Before you... I want to know bullshit. I have to see that.
According to law firms, being left-handed can be inconvenient, but does not prevent someone from working.
Oh,
I didn't say qualify for disability. I said considered disabled.
No, it's not considered disabled at all.
Why? Why
what he just said.
Look, just because you rolled your stats wrong in your character sheet, don't mean.
I mean, right? Just because your legs don't work, don't mean that you can't work. I mean, but it's still a disability, right?
If the place that you work at doesn't have wheelchair accessibility, then you're fucked. You can't work there.
Look, there was a whole store for y'all on the Simpsons show, all right? Ned Flanders.
My guy, if you were paralyzed, you could still work from home, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're not disabled?
How's being left-handed disability though?
So all
it's a disadvantage.
So all make-believe disabilities are created equal with regular disabilities. What you say?
How's it disadvantage? Wait.
How's it a make-believe disability?
Hold on. No. But being you're saying being left-handed is like same thing as being an amputee, or like,
yeah, right.
Like, wow. I'm just saying I'm saying is that
the burden of proof is on you with the disability argument.
Exactly.
What you said, one doesn't equate to the other. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean that you can't work.
And just because you're left-handed doesn't mean you're disabled. What the fuck? What are you talking about?
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It was classified as a disability.
He just said it wasn't.
Oh.
Eric literally just said it wasn't classified.
He just said that you could still work. He didn't say that it was not classified as a disability.
No.
the articles I'm looking at are going into like old lawsuits where people tried suing for disability, saying that being left-handed.
I'm not saying that you qualify for disability,
but the left-handed people lost all those lawsuits. Is what I'm.
Of course we did.
Oh, that means it's not disability. Thank you.
But
Court of law says
I
it's
can't
not.
properly operate in a right-handed person's world because tools don't work properly. Things don't work as they are intended. It is technically considered a disability. Pens don't write how they should.
It's not.
I'm gonna stand on it. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm not.
not.
That's
You can
Going
stand-
by the
Yo, you can stand
going
your
by
back
the
with
official
it.
ADA, an individual with a disability is defined as a person who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities.
Mm-hmm. That is not being left-handed, dude.
What major life activity can you not do from being left-handed?
I can't cut paper with right-handed scissors.
You
Being
can
left-handed.
train yourself to.
And also, they got left-handed scissors. Also, just get yourself
That is true.
big like paper cutters, like we had in school. Just like
Yeah. This motherfucker acts like there's no such things as left-handed scissors.
Who the fuck uses left-handed scissors?
left-handed people.
Left-handed!
If anybody is out there that's left-handed,
Oh my god!
Who could
Please.
use left-handed scissors?
tell
The
me when
people
the
that
last
are
time you used
left-handed?
left-handed scissors.
What the fuck?
Tell me when the last time you saw left-handed scissors.
With the
Target
left-handed
and Walmart the
person.
other
I
day.
ain't seen left-handed scissors since I was in 3rd grade.
That's your fault for not buying left-handed scissors when you have
I didn't
access
say buying.
to.
I said saw.
I saw him. You can see him getting any Walmart or Target these days.
Yeah, you literally can.
Wow, that's crazy.
Dude. Yeah, hold on. I can go on Amazon
Look,
right now.
there's left-handed scissors.
Where have y'all been? Like in
Bruh,
caves?
How
Like
the
what is
fuck do you
happening?
not know
Like-
that?
Bruh, what I'm saying is,
Have y'all just not tried?
wow.
What?
We literally have to program our entire minds to work in a right-handed world. Because
Bro, I
it's
just
that
found a left-handed.
inconvenient.
I just found a left-handed mechanical keyboard. You have zero excuses now.
I mean, I found a left-handed mechanical keyboard too. Doesn't mean
Okay.
that I'm not going to use it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to use it.
To answer the
No.
question, chat. Yeah, there are left-handed.
Are
scissors.
all the letters in the opposite direction?
Mm-hmm.
So when you learn how to type, right? When you learn how to type, you learn how to type on a regular mechanical keyboard, right?
Hold on. Let me go look at this. Let me go look at the listing for this.
According to Google, left-handed people can't write spiral notes.
First of all, that's wildly inconvenient. And second of all, it smears all your stuff.
I mean, technically, you could just like turn it. You could just 180 the notebook, couldn't you?
And write upside down like a weirdo.
No, you just keep the notebook that orientation and read it. I thought it was solution in 2 seconds. What are you talking about? Like what is that? What is happening? Like, what are we doing? What is happening?
Hold on.
Oh, I
hold
turned
on.
my notebook upside down to write it correctly. Let me turn it back the right way because that.
He's making it
but
so
then
much
you
more
lose the
difficult
margin
for
at the top of
himself
the
than he
paper.
needs to. And I don't know why.
Wait, what?
You're making it so much more difficult for yourself than you need to.
I'm obstinate. I'll argue technicalities all
And
day.
I'm abstinent. What does that matter?
Oh god.
I'm not telling the truth.
Dude,
So
I
anyway.
literally found all this shit instantly for you.
Of course, there's stuff that exists, but the fact that they have to make things means that they're making tools to accommodate.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't fucking say it. No.
For left-handed people.
No.
All I'm saying is that
I
these
was
are
gonna say,
accommodations.
How are you gonna say to accommodate a disability?
I did not say it. They're accommodating left-handed people. They're trying to make life
Accommodations do
easier
not automatically-
because
Accommodations do not automatically mean disabilities.
No,
that's fine.
exactly. They're not.
Y'all
a
can
disability.
think y'all way. I'll think my way.
It's not a. Yeah, my way. Our way is right. The fuck you mean? Even the courts back us up on that because
You notice. You notice what you just did, right?
What?
Your way is what?
Right. The courts
That's-
back me up on that.
Prejudice against lefties.
Does anyone else actually
What?
YouTube up because Loon put some left-handed scissors up just for the posterity of the conversation?
That's prejudice against lefties because now all of a sudden your way is right because you're right-handed.
I did not say that. I did not say why is it so big? I don't know why they made it like that.
Remember, if you right, you right. If you left, you're not right.
That is true. Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
That right-handed motherfucker sounded so perfect.
You the one that said.
See, that's what I'm saying. The cheese stands alone. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Bro,
you know what? Now we're gonna talk about game balance since obviously we can't talk about the balance.
You can teach yourself. Right. No. We're not doing this because you can teach yourself to be right-handed. The same way I can teach myself to be left-handed or ambidextrous.
Oh yeah, you can teach yourself to be left-handed?
Yeah.
And when you teach yourself to be left-handed, how's your writing on it?
Yo, Tone, there's a left-hand store
like
first, 10 minutes from me. Go check it out for you.
A left-handed store?
It's called Left Hand Society. It's in Trenton.
I need to hear about whatever is in that store. I need to see these products, please.
Let me see this. I need to see this store. Hold on.
Oh, I can't read. It's a tattoo shop. Why do you call a tattoo shop Left Hand Society? What? But there is a lefthandedstore.com. There's a leftieslefthanded.com.
So I guess the tattoo artist.
There's a leftyguitarsonly.com.
This looks like a right-handed.
Let me also break it down, and I know this is a little bit off topic. Jimi Hendrix is actually one of the most creative geniuses in history. To me. But do you know why I say this?
Because he's left-handed?
Because he was a left-handed person who played a right-handed guitar upside down.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain did the same thing.
Yeah, like I said with the Notebook. See, same principle.
But Kurt Cobain did it restrung the opposite way.
No, I don't think his guitar was actually restrung. I'm pretty sure he played it the regular way, but just upside down. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you ain't.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the whole fact of the matter is that playing a guitar playing a guitar, first of all, the right way is weird to me because it's like, yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So let's talk about some balance, some game balancing, since our audience is getting very involved in this left-handed conversation. I want to know what the best way to balance a game is. So over the years, I've played a lot of different games. I'm sure you guys have played a lot of different games. We're here because we're gamers. So that means we've been playing probably a long time. And so, like, we play everything from single player to multiplayer games, online games, games that have online support, card games, tabletop games. Like, we pretty much cover a pretty broad spectrum of gaming. There are some popular options, and obviously games need balance. When game developers come to how they want their game to be played, how they intend for games to be designed, balance is something that is definitely kept in mind. And it's also a very tough thing. Very, very tough things. When it comes to balance, even in like your single player games that have online support, you see patches come through that might fix bugs or balance the game. When it comes to multiplayer games like Destiny, games like, Street Fighter, Tekken, things of that nature, Naraka Blade Point, you're going to see balancing come into play as well. And then, obviously, those things would come with the point of maybe, fixing weapons, making weapons nerfed, as they say, where you lower the power or you buff and increase the power of certain weapons and make them do things, make them hit harder, make them so that they are trying to be on, I guess, equal footing, even though I don't know how you make an assault rifle and a rocket launcher be on equal footing, but that's neither here nor there. So very often when it comes to games and balancing and buffs and nerfs to weapons and items, that might appear overpowered or underpowered, they missed the mark. They missed the mark. So, yeah, what do you think that companies can do in order to achieve better balance? Like Loki said earlier, balance is a myth. Even though then he goes beyond to say that Overwatch 2 is imbalanced and he complains about the balance issues in Overwatch 2. But then on the flip side, Counter Strike is completely balanced. They just have shitty netcode, whatever it was that he was saying. Like, what can game developers do in order to put better balance? Like, if something's overpowered, I'm personally in the mindset of if one thing is overpowered, you can either tune that down a little bit, or you can bring everything to that level. Right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would say if something seems a bit overtuned, just tune everything else up too. Screw it. Look, listen. If everything is overpowered, nothing is overpowered.
Right.
That's the philosophy I go with. I would rather companies.
Then you can increase health bars. You can. Yeah. There are different things that you can do.
I would rather that game studios just buff other things rather than nerfing a bunch of stuff. Like, if something seems like it's outperforming everything else, then just bring up the performance of everything else.
Yep.
What's the problem?
I think what annoys me with game balance, because Helldivers 2 is going through some shit right now because they nerfed a lot of fun weapons like the flamethrowers people are enjoying a lot.
Yeah.
But with Helldivers 2, it's like, this is a non-competitive game. People having fun, but the weapons, how you put them out,
yep.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, well, the problem is that sometimes they want you to have a little bit more challenge when you're fighting a boss, or when you're fighting different boards.
Like we said, like we said, make it so certain bugs aren't hit by fire as much. Like, they nerfed it because apparently flamethrowers were killing chargers too fast. All right, make it so chargers have like a fire resistance.
Yes.
Over other bugs. It's like those are no reason to like completely change the hitboxes, how the weapon works, everything like that. Don't make any sense. Like, for games like that. For competitive stuff, I think one thing that plagues League of Legends the most is they balance it around
around what?
About the pro scene. So like LCS, Worlds, everything like that. But like
same problem.
But you got like 30, 40 million, 50 million other people that don't play competitively. They're just trying to play the game, but you're basing it because off like the top 1% of top 1% of players are popping off in tournaments. Like, now granted, yes, there are people that try to like, oh, I saw Faker do this at Worlds. I'm trying to mimic it. It's like, you're not Faker though. Like, no. So
it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Now you're balancing around Faker's plays and something that Faker can do, but
there's only one Faker.
Yep.
And the rest of us don't play like Faker. So why are you forcing me to go around the restrictions that are built around Faker, and I'm not him, nor am I going to be playing against someone who plays like him?
Yeah, it's like I log on League to play some ARAMs, maybe a random limited game mode, but then it's just like, oh, this character got nerfed. Like, for what? It's like, oh, they were real popular in World. It's like, so what's that got to do with me?
I mean,
it's like,
all right, when we talk League of Legends, I got one character that they struggled to balance this one character forever. Zeri.
Yep.
In the first year that Zeri was out, I think she was touched 11 times. Pause.
I mean, yeah, definitely a pause because I think Zeri's like 14 or something like that. It's like definitely a pause on that. Zeri's like 14, I think.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, the League is hard to balance. I just say it because it's like the biggest competitive game in the world still right at this point. But it's like, it's hard. It's I give them credit for how the state the game's in decently, because there are some things you can't do with certain champions. Like, one of my favorite champions of the game is Orianna, the robot mage girl, has the ball she can control.
The ball that she can throw out. Yeah.
So she was the new character when I started. And when I say that she has barely been touched, whether they might tweak some numbers here and there, but
pause.
Oh yeah. Tweak some numbers here and there, movement speed, AP scaling abilities, but they can't go too far one direction or the other because she's always been like
right in the middle.
She's like it's like we got this right. We can't give her even like 5% extra damage on her abilities because then she's gonna go crazy. Or we can't nerf her. It is, but like it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just like, oh, that could be another like 80 damage on like a combo or something like that, or like for a full combo another like 200 damage, something like that. But it's just like she's right in the middle. We got her good. Now, except how am I gonna balance these champions where I gave them 10 abilities and shit like that because all the kits got to be super overblown now. All these new champions, it's like, and also for games like Call of Duty's weird because it's like this gun's overperforming potentially because of like Call of Duty League. It's like, so do you then nerf the gun for everybody? Because they do that sometimes too. Like competitive games, it's weird. Like with how like it's hard to balance, and like I always think like I'm basing around how competitive scene does it is not the right way to go.
I agree. I mean, well, partially. I partially agree. We talked about competitive scene. We talked about competition, right? Something that I'm actually going through right now is metagaming. So obviously, with almost any game that you play, there's a meta that exists, and the meta is basically that collection of characters who are most commonly played, who would technically be considered the strongest. It would be what most players would base their picks around. So these would be the players these would be the things that would, or the characters that would create who most people play versus who can't play, etc.
Yeah.
So meta characters are going to gatekeep non-meta characters. They're going to make it so that if you pick something that's off meta, or if you pick something that's non-meta, you're probably going to have a tougher time. It's just how it is, because the meta is balanced towards those characters being in the meta. And they're the meta because in that current state of existence, that is just who turned out to be strong. So again, I told you guys before, I played this card game. So right now we are in the meta of what is considered set 7. And in set 7, it's a very, very balanced meta. When I say balanced, I mean that there's not like a one tier 0, or like we have probably 3 or 4 tier 1 decks, like 3 or 4 dogs at the top, and then that next row is like 5 or 6 different decks that are just able to compete with tier 1, but might have a little bit more of a disadvantage. So in reality, like there's really like a big triangle at the top, where there were like 3 main decks competing, and then you had like maybe 3 decks outside of that were kind of hovering around. So you had a meta of about 6 decks, and then you got these other 3 decks that are kind of hovering right around the outside and can sneak wins off of even the main 3. So you're talking 9 decks that are completely functional in this meta, right?
Yeah.
While we're in this meta of the 7th set, Japan is in the 8th set. The problem with that is that with Japan being in the 8th set, that means they have access to cards that we don't have yet, that we're waiting for, that are like they've had the access to these cards since May, June, like May 31st, somewhere around there. We're not going to get them until September. So they have a competitive scene there too, the same way that we have one here. They're just behind. But very oftentimes you hear, oh, the English people are just copying and pasting our stuff. They're just using our builds and blah, blah, blah. No, but we put in our own work. So what ends up happening is during the 8th set in Japan, that meta shifted drastically from 9 decks being viable and being able to sneak off these and being able to like win these competitive events to literally only 2 decks being able to
welcome to card games. That happens in Magic like all the time.
Yeah, but the difference is that Magic is 30 something years in.
True.
Almost 40 years in. One Piece is a year and a half in. And
I mean,
right
Yu-Gi-Oh!
now,
Going through that shit too.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is another one that has major balance issues. So we moved from 9 decks being in the meta to 2 decks being the meta. And it was so bad that one deck actually was winning. One deck won approximately 75 to 80% of the tournaments that happened.
Listen, for a meta to be thrown off in a card game, all it takes is like maybe 1-2 cards.
It was 2 cards
that are like fucking.
It was 2 cards.
Yeah, 1 or 2 cards that are either introduced in or banned from tournaments that completely destroys. That can basically destroy an entire person's deck to make it unviable.
I'm almost there. Let me tell you what happened. Monday, we got a ban list. This ban list, so again, the one deck is called Red Purple Law. And this deck it has an ability where it's like it has removal, but it also has tempo. Basically, you take 3 energy, you subtract it, you put it back in your energy pile, and you get to remove one of your characters one of your opponent's characters that has 3,000 power or less, because that's a red thing, doing something by power, and then you get to play out one of your own that costs 4. Either way, I'm going too deep into the explanation. Whatever the case, 1 card broke the deck, essentially, maybe 2. They could have type restricted these cards, but instead of them type restricting the cards, they decided to ban the leader completely. So now, when the leader's banned, you effectively can't play that deck. That is going to go into effect September 1st in Japan. They've already completed, as of August 31st, the 8th set. We're not in the 8th set yet. Well, it turns out that it was so bad, they didn't want us to experience that meta, that they put it into effect September 6th here. So now we're going to have a completely open, completely different meta. And now that and they made a new version of leader. I guess they thought that they were trying to do something good, but they completely chopped his legs off. It's completely bad and unplayable. Like, and you can play it, but it's not good. So like they've basically nerfed it into the ground. Was it for the sake of balance? Is that what you call balance? Or do you, like, I don't understand. Instead of either type locking these cards that are making this deck bad, or, you know, banning a card that takes away costs for other cards. And I understand why they wouldn't ban the card, because considering that it came in a new set, they want people to be excited and buy the new set. So they banned an old leader that's been around for 6 months, because that makes people excited to go out and buy the new set. Now everybody has to figure out what they're going to play. The thing is that One Piece Nationals is September the 7th. So that ban list goes into effect the day before Nationals.
No, that sounds about right. That's not unheard of for any sort of card game or video game.
Typically, they do it right after Nationals. This is happening the day before Nationals.
I feel like either Tekken or Street Fighter nerfed a shit ton of characters literally the day before a fucking tournament win. It was either that or Mortal Kombat.
But typically, like with fighting games, typically they'll be playing on like a specific version, like that, like saying like
right. You can backdate a version. This ban list going into effect the day before Nationals means that everybody who has been training for the past 3 months up until now, because they've been competing in these tournaments with said deck, or because they didn't just ban this leader, they also banned another card from the other strongest deck. So everybody who's been training with these cards, with these setups, now has they had 3 months to experience to learn how to do this. And now they can't use it on the stage that they've been preparing for. You have 3 weeks, 3 weeks to learn a new deck.
And they haven't communicated saying like, like unless they explicitly communicate saying like, even though this ban list has gone to effect this day, like it's not going to be affected, not going to affect till the next Nationals. It's literally that. People might as well just stop using that card now. It's like, what's the point?
That's literally what I've done, because even I have things like store treasure cups, which are considered, I mean, they're not large, but they're considered more higher level tournaments. I have store treasure cups in August. One is August, I think, the 31st, and the other one is August the 24th. These are highly competitive events. I can't use that deck anymore after that treasure cup. I have, regionals in October. Can't use that.
Listen, I've learned.
So I'm just gonna not even put my effort into it.
I've learned that to enjoy any sort of card game, you can only play with friends, realistically speaking. Because if you try to play that shit on an official level, you're not gonna have a fun time. Your deck's gonna probably be obsolete or this or that, and you don't get to play the cards that you actually enjoy playing because sometimes like you don't really care what the meta is. You don't really care what's banned, what's relevant or anything like that. You just like your deck and you like your cards that you have.
I mean, I was liking my deck, but even like people are like, oh, this deck is just too strong and it's gatekeeping everything, and I'm like, I don't understand how y'all are saying this deck is too strong and I am losing consistently.
Like, I prefer to play Magic with specifically one deck from a certain set because it was all Egyptian based.
Did you get the Assassin's Creed set?
Huh?
Did you get the Assassin's Creed set?
No, I didn't get it.
Oh, it came out recently.
I'm gonna have to pick that up, but still, like,
you probably should look into it because I think it was one of the limited edition Commander sets. But anyway, carry on.
But yeah, like, I like playing that specific set from that release that they had because it's all Egyptian themed and I like Egyptian stuff. So I don't want to go to a tournament and be like, like, nah, none of this shit is relevant. You can't play it. It's like, I don't want to buy new cards that aren't.
But they want you to buy new cards. Their whole objective is to get you to buy more products so they can make more money.
Well, yeah, I know. I get that because capitalism, duh. Like, that has to happen. So
and Wizards of the Coast, but
yeah, they gotta get them. They gotta get the money.
Yeah, well, the whales. They got the whales. The whales are always gonna be buying spending thousands of dollars a month on cards. Come on, you know that.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest though, and when I thought about it,
real life Kaibas,
it made sense. So, all right, even if the deck was too generic and just quote unquote limited card design, like everybody says, right? So even if the deck was too generic, it didn't really get any legs until this set. And yes, it was one of the top decks this set, but that's because they got rid of another gatekeeper at the beginning of this set. Like, they banned another deck. So you're talking 2 sets in a row that you've banned a deck. If something decides to come out of the woodworks and be super strong again,
yeah,
you're gonna ban that too?
Wait, I just saw.
So instead of them banning cards that go into decks, and they're printing broken cards at this point, they're banning whole leaders, anybody who can abuse said cards while keeping cards that are broken in the game. I don't think that's. I don't think it sets a good precedent.
Hold on. Hold on.
So I got a question, right? So because most of the time in Destiny, they have a broken meta. And they kind of rotate weapons in and out, like grenade launchers, rocket launchers, and all that stuff like that. So so what I'm hearing is y'all really don't like shifting metas in the game. Y'all like one meta and like stick with it.
The meta shifts every set. Well, the meta shifts every set. So every 3 months the meta changes, depending upon whatever cards come within that set.
I mean, I wish there wasn't a meta period in any game I enjoy playing, but that happens.
That's just the cards you dealt like literally in and shit with whether it be a card game or not. Like, I think the problem with meta shifts like that for certain games. I'm just going off my most because I haven't touched like a trading card game. God knows how long.
I mean, even fighting games, like the metas change,
but like
because they up damage or lower damage. Like, I'm a proponent of if something's strong, you buffed it. Buff other stuff too.
I mean, WoW would go through that shit too. Oh my God.
But like it's always crazy, like how literally like one drop in the pond can ruin like everything, almost like a butterfly wing effect, ripple effect, and stuff like that. Like I distinctly remember going to like another trading card game, Hearthstone, the Warcraft card game. That very first expansion that came out, Goblins vs Gnomes, and that Dr. Boom card came out, and it was far and away the most broken card in that entire game. But you couldn't get it that easily without spending a lot of money, so they knew what they were doing. If you didn't get lucky with packs, you had to keep buying packs to get it. But it destroyed the entire meta, and then they're like, "How do we fix this?" And it's like, you can't ban this card in this digital trading card game that you set up like this, like, because then like at that point it's like, okay, well, I got this card. So why I spent all this money digitally? It's, like at least with real cards, it's like, I got this. It's cool. If it gets banned in real life in the tournament, I still got the card.
That's true.
Yeah, digital trade card games, like, I can't use this now. But I'll go into fighting games. The other example I was gonna say, when Mortal Kombat X had the Xenomorph come out.
Oh God!
And destroyed the entire meta of that game because they overtuned that character. It was super late in the lifespan of the game, so it didn't affect like the main run of it. But still, it's like, can you imagine if they dropped that in like the first DLC pack? Like everyone, like all tournaments would have been Xenomorph, and like that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mean like how like majority of tournaments was like straight up just like when fucking Omni-Man was released, nothing but Omni-Mans.
Yo, Omni-Man was broken. Oh my God, he was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he would keep getting L for so long.
That's where we come up with the concept of balance.
It's
if
hard.
you don't shift the meta,
hard.
right? Those weaker characters or less used characters will probably never get used.
I feel like if you give
That's
people
true, but
I feel if you give people more defensive tools, it makes it easier to try to attain some kind of balance. I think the problem is a lot of games don't give you enough defensive options.
Yeah,
so
I don't think that shifting the meta is the problem.
If you're somebody who's kind of like, I don't want to say lower tier or whatever character or whatever deck, whatever you're playing, but like if you're someone like, let's say, I don't know, for example, let's go with Vanilla WoW Rogues in World PvP. Eric knows what I'm talking about. And they dominated
I don't know
everybody. Every class. They dominated every fucking class. You know what you do? Do you nerf the rogue? No, you just give the other classes more defensive options against things like rogues instead of nerfing the rogue. Because we went through the times of the rogue getting nerfed, and it suffered in fucking DPS when it came to PvE. So
but then when you just want to break it into, like you want to nerf the PvE damage and keep the PvE,
it's so hard. It's so hard to balance those two things out of a game that has PvE and PvP. I don't know how it's done, because obviously, yes, something's going to be broken in PvP, right? Because of something that's beneficial in PvE. I don't know how you balance that out.
Well, with WoW specifically, it was like impossible to balance.
Yeah,
vanilla WoW like PvE stats in PvP because everything was 1-to-1 to each other. There wasn't like equalization of stats or anything like that. It wasn't until you start getting the Burning Crusade, then it's like, all right, we got resilience gear, which effectively just like, oh, you deal more damage, take less damage from players, blah blah, depending on your resilience stat. Even then, that wasn't balanced. And then they started doing oh, your stats are similar now, so like now it's more skill based, something like that. So eventually, but people got pissed off that it's like, well, why did I play so hard getting all this gear in the raids if it doesn't make a difference in PvP? I could just go get a stick on the auction house and do the same thing. So yeah, it's like for a while for MMOs, it's always funny like how the people complain about that, because it's like you have to equal stats for that. Like just because I'm not playing 30 hours a week getting the max gear doesn't mean I shouldn't have some kind of chance.
Yeah,
it's stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I get the complaints on the player side. If you're playing the game so much, you might want to see some big numbers by two-shot somebody. And it's like, can't do that no more. It's like, it sucks, but
them one shot, fucking enhancement shamans in vanilla. When Wind Fury used to proc off of Wind Fury.
Yeah, that was that was a bug.
That was stupid, but fun and hilarious to see.
But like in Destiny, it's like they used to have that problem. Well, they still have a major problem in PvP, but like it got to the point where they had to break PvE and PvP apart. The damage,
I think you have to.
Yeah, like I believe in MMOs, you have to break those two apart. You can't have the same amount of damage in PvE content because that could get insane compared to like PvP. You got to have some type of normalization going on.
I think all sort of MMOs and things of that sort where you have PvE, PvP should have a normalization for the PvE portion of it. Obviously, we know that fucking world PvP in a lot of MMOs that do offer that. That's a different way. You can't really do that because you're literally out in the world where you're interacting with PvE stuff too. Although maybe you could in terms of like how you interact with another player's character is different than an NPC in terms of your damage. So I guess you could balance it that way, right?
Yeah, the damage you do to a player versus the player
in theory,
to a PvE character. I mean, yeah, you could.
Yeah. But you definitely can't have you definitely can't have somebody whose DPS is hitting like 1 million on a boss and then hits a player with the same same DPS.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They'll die in one hit.
So how do you balance something before release? Like, you know how they do patches, and obviously you test patches. You want to make sure the patches don't have bugs. But how do you balance that patch before it releases, or or even if it before a game releases? For instance, Mecha Break. You know what I'm saying? Like Mecha Break felt kind of balanced, but there was still a little bit of imbalance between things like Stego versus like a light sniper. You know what I'm saying? Like you have these heavy, but again, it's a heavy tank, it's a heavy attacker or a heavy defender versus a light sniper. Obviously, you're not going to do that same kind of damage. How do you balance things like that? Like, are open betas necessary?
That. But I was going to say, as someone who is a Stego main, I've never had a problem with snipers. To be honest with you, you can still.
What I'm saying is,
I don't think there's a balance problem between a sniper and Stego. Right.
So the
because
light sniper.
Because here, are you saying that hold on? Are you saying that the Stego player has the advantage over the sniper, or the sniper has the advantage? No, you don't.
Even though the sniper is further,
you have to be stationary to Stego, though.
You don't have to be stationary.
Is this a skill issue? Is it a skill issue?
To be stationary to turret.
It sounds like a skill issue from what I'm hearing on tones.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't use Stego.
Sound like I use trash, but that's just what I'm.
I use Panther. What I'm saying is,
talking about my class that you don't even play. Like, what are you talking about?
There are counters, and what I'm saying is like a light. All right. So the heavy sniper would be a hard counter for Stego, right?
Yeah.
But the light sniper isn't going to do as much damage. Obviously.
That's a lie.
I'm using this. I was using this as an example. I'm not saying it's broken. I'm saying, how do you achieve the balances necessary before the game comes out in full release? Are open betas like this helpful?
Yeah, stress tests. Well, betas and stress tests are for two reasons: A, see how your servers work with population, and B, like a lot of these companies, like they don't have the time to test all these scenarios. They get like characters to like a base point. Did this character's abilities work? Are they gonna like make sure they don't fall through the world or some weird thing, or like make sure they don't blow up flying or whatever it is, what have you? I didn't get a chance to play Mega Man, just give random examples, but you need to have those open betas, so because people are going to break the game in ways you didn't expect, no matter what.
Yeah,
that goes across. That doesn't mean not a competitive game. It could be like a random like RPG, like when I remember funny example, get back in Game Crazy when Castlevania Curse of Darkness came out, and people were like, "Why are you dodge rolling everywhere? It's faster than walking."
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like if I can save myself a few minutes of time travel around the castle by doing a stupid little cartwheel everywhere, I'm gonna do the cartwheel. It's like But like you don't think like most developers don't look into stuff like that or think of stuff like that potentially. So you need the open betas so people find this shit.
I completely understand that. And I think that, to be honest with you, like I said in my review, I think that Mecha Break is a really good game. And to be honest, I felt that it was pretty balanced and that there are areas of opportunity. So,
Yeah, I didn't feel that there was anything that was like, oh my God.
Nothing glaring.
No, it really, honestly,
It feels almost complete.
Yeah, I made it to gold 4 was the highest I made it to. And I think at that point, it honestly comes down to your teammates and their ability behind whatever mechs that they choose. Because it didn't feel like anything was imbalanced. So like if we had good team play, we won. If we had bad team play, we lost. This is how it came. That's what it boiled down to. It didn't boil down to us getting dominated by any other mech. Although Panther is a little. I'd have to try Panther I had to try Panther at launch. Because there's some things that people can do with Panther that I'm just like, whoa, what the? How? But still,
because I ain't get to play yet.
If you got distance on Panther, you can blow them away.
Yeah.
If you get distance on Panther, you can basically tear them to pieces.
Maybe.
Nah, not me.
Talk about
if you go into shield, if you go into pursuit mode, Panther's left right dodging ability, even though it eats boost, but its actual pursuit mode has like a lot of maneuverability, which makes it a little bit more difficult to hit. So, and then it's Lance drill charge that doesn't eat boost at all.
I thought it does.
I don't think the drill charge eats boost. Just the pursuit mode on your shield.
There's some mechanics to them that I just don't know. I see people like it almost feels like they don't lose any energy at all. So I don't know.
There are again.
He's not an easy
definitely mods
and play.
Yeah, they're definitely mods, but
that's true.
You know, when we streamed, I definitely showed off some Panther gameplay. So, you know, if you want to see Panther gameplay, just refer back to the stream that we did on Start Button, and you'll be able to see that.
But I mean, for that game, it really does come down to who you got on your team, and if they are aware of the situation and things around them. It's like any other multiplayer game of like it really just boils down to situational awareness or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see they have a sniper, please take them out. Don't waste time on that. Go ahead, because the moment that sniper gets shot, they're gonna start moving around and running. That always happens.
Or going invisible or something.
Yeah, or going invisible. Just take them out.
Take out the healer.
Take out the healer, so we can get this going on. Because without them, the tanks and the heavier characters, they just fall to pieces. Because they ain't got nothing to back them up.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll actually leave this with our audience. If you have any ideas on how game developers can successfully balance games, we suggest leaving it in the comments. Remember to come on back. Even if you don't watch the whole thing again, just leave some comments under the video when we post it live. Tune into our shorts. Make sure to comment, like them. Definitely always hit that like button on anything that you see coming from us because it helps us a lot. And we definitely appreciate your engagement. We try to stay engaged with you. We talk to you live. We definitely want you to be able to come to us, ask questions. We'll provide knowledge, and there's always a chance that we can bring you guys up. So anyway, in the meantime, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope that you had a great time. I know I had a good time. It was funny. We had fun. So we look forward to you coming again next time. We should be here maybe next week. In the meantime, if there's something that you want to achieve, remember, all you got to do is press the start button.
Peace out, y'all.
Later, y'all.
See you later.